The new look Seacombe Tigers return to the CMAX Premier League, but laying out the welcome mat is the defending champions, the Port Adelaide Magpies. It is the Battle of the Blacks in Game 3 of our triple header coverage of the CMAX Premier League. My name is David Moulton. Thank you for joining us today. With me this afternoon is Anthony Weatherstone and Lee Hull. Gentlemen, welcome.
Yes, nice to see you, David. Back from Victoria. You've been over in Victoria, I believe.
I have been, yes, getting the State League and the Waverley Open 1 broadcast up and running.
You did basketball too, championships, I believe.
We have. We did the NBL 1 basketballs, but right now ahead of us here is the triumphant return of the Seacombe Tigers. Now, Anthony, you had an opportunity to talk to some of the Tigers ahead of this match. How excited is this team to be back in the top level of softball in the Gillies Shield State?
Look, hi everybody, and yeah, look, I mean, it's been a big off season for the Seacombe Tigers. As a club, they've worked very hard to get themselves back into the league as quickly as they can. They've got a new coach, young coach, Coach Dolman, Adelaide. So those that anybody that's got any sort of knowledge of state softball around SA, you know, she was a player for Sturt back in her day. She was an Australian junior rep. So obviously a player with some super class. Went over to the States and spent a couple of years at William Jewell Liberty in Missouri, and ended up at Park University in Missouri. So she's obviously got some USA credentials there as well. But just listening to her talk yesterday, just the passion and the commitment to try and see this whole program go through. And it's an emotional day for the Tigers. You'll notice that they've got the little bows going on amongst the team that the coaches prep for them. One of the main architects of helping rebuild this club, unfortunately, is not doing particularly well, and it's his birthday today. So to Chappie, all the best, mate. We hope you get well soon, and the girls looking great in their new uniforms.
It is a good-looking uniform, isn't it?
It is sharp. But yeah, no, it's an emotional day for the Tigers, and it'll be, you know, Coach Dolman's done a great job of assembling a mixed group of players that were there previously. They haven't gone and done a bunch of off-season recruiting. They've sort of tried to promote a little bit within. So look, it's going to be a tough first cast against the reigning premier, who, you know, played West Torrens last week and were very good. So as we go throughout the day, we'll have a bit of a chat about some of their players and see how they go.
So plenty of familiar faces from the last time we did see the Seacombe Tigers in the then Premier League, now CMAX Premier League. Mm-hmm. A lot of new faces as well. So perhaps let's do a quick rundown of who's out there for the Seacombe Tigers.
So yeah, so obviously those who might know, we've got Becky Havis at first base. She's just been announced in the state under 23s, and obviously just coming off the fully loaded series as a power hitter. Young Georgia Tompkinson out there at right field, one of the young and up and coming players. Lots of positives there, and a couple of familiar names to the Seacombe people as well. Pash, Pearson as well, and the young pitcher Araha Munro, a super talent, and so we'll be very interested to see how she goes today. Also, the club has got some sponsors. The team itself has got a sponsor with Boost, the juice bars, but the club itself have been well supported by Dental for Schools, or DFS, and we'll be talking about them throughout the day as well. And also, they're also a proud sponsor of Softball SA. You can see their sign out there at left field. If we can get Brandon and his sharp crew to get us some camera time on that, that would be great.
The dental for schools?
Absolutely. So they're the leading mobile school dental provider. So they offer no out-of-pocket dental care, and they're full-service mobile clinics visiting schools across SA. So we want you to get behind them. There's the sign.
See, there was a lot of hype for being afraid of the dentist when I was a kid, but my memory of going to the dentist was getting half a day off school. I was like, oh, it's dentist day, sweet, I get out of class.
Well, anybody that's, like if you're a softball pitcher and you're standing 40 feet from the plate where somebody's swinging a metallic bat and the ball's going at about 100 kilometres an hour, I think I'd probably be investing in myself in a decent set of mouth guards. So yeah, they obviously, the dentist for sure. DFS get behind them. As I said, we'll have a bit of a chat about them throughout the day, but it's great to see those types of people getting behind, not just the Seacombe Softball Club, but obviously, you know, Softball SA as well. And so here we go, Coach Dolman and Coach Lucas. So the premiership coach and the returning coach, the returning coach bringing back the Tigers, meet at the plate. So
we're just about getting ready to go here. Lee, do you want to introduce the Blues for us?
I will, David, thank you. Played at Steve Wallace-Yarrow, first base Damien McCauley, and at third base Kevin Tannering. Experienced umpires here today on this game. And I just touch on the Seacombe uniform. I love it.
Oh, I love it as well.
Especially when it's hot days, you don't want a lot of black on, do you, when it's hot? It always seems as if it's doubly hot.
It's a good yellow as well. It's gonna really pop on those cameras as well. So let's just talk a little bit big picture with the CMAX Premier League. So this is the introduction of the Tigers, but we've also now had an opportunity to kind of see each of the teams, see how they're facing up, see what the changes are, the big ins, the big outs. We've still got some imports on the way, but Lee, let's start with you. What's your eye seeing out there in the CMAX Premier League this year?
Well, I think it's out of 3 teams. I know it's early days, early call by me, but it's Sturt, Port Adelaide and West Torrens, I think. Unless somebody jumps out of the blue, Walker will surprise us all, I think, at the moment. And Hills, we don't know about what the new pitch is like. May make a big difference, but you need more than just a pitcher, don't you, really?
Yeah, I thought, I was hopeful that the Hills, I sort of thought they might be that smoky 4th place team sort of putting some pressure on, but they're in desperate need of some reinforcements, and whilst they've got a talented list, it just seems to, nothing seems to have clicked since Georgia Hood's left. They used to be loud and up and about, but it's just
the energy that came
from the Hills great, but it's a missing energy now. They've got some individually great players, but it just hasn't come together. But it's round 2, so they've got the bye today.
Early days.
The Cats, you know, they kept Sturt accountable today, and you know, Sturt obviously didn't have some of their big guns there as well. And Glenelg, after a terrible start in round 1, did a very good job today, I think, about keeping West Torrens on the leash. They had a couple of situations where Torrens were able to get some double plays and get out of some tricky situations. So, yeah, look, Lee's right. It's a top 3. Port could have won last week. You know, it
was a close game.
Yeah, they lost 5-4, but you know, you go on earned runs 4-3. They only lost the 2 runs on split plays.
Just touching on Hills as you were, Anthony. Amber Hood, never lose sight of the fact that when she left too, Georgia and Amber looks, she's just slotted in the West Torrens as if she'd been there forever.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. It's the energy that you sort of, that's the different thing about what they bring. But hey, it's early days, some reinforcements come, and here we go for the first time.
So, gentlemen, speaking of triumphant returns, Jess Nevers, we did see her for a couple of games towards the end of last season, but Jess Nevers back in the Port Adelaide Magpies lineup, leading off for this Magpie side, watches the first one in.
So Munro for first pitch back for the Tigers is a strike, so that's a good positive start to done some New Zealand rep ball, I believe, Lee. Araha?
Yes, she's she seems to have been like around forever, but she's only still very young.
Jess Nevers gets a good piece of that. Tracking under it is Blight, who makes the first out for the Seacombe Tigers. Welcome back to the CMAX Premier League.
Yeah, that's going to feel good. Coach Dolman will be appreciative of that. Lead off out, Jess Nevers, just on the CMAX replay there, you can see gets underneath it, lifts the ball up high, but great work in the outfield, good early call, reads it well in the pocket. Positive start by the Tigers.
So here is an exciting player in Taylor Chillingworth. She's been doing some big things at the local level. Oh, good swing.
What?
Let's see if we can't get a replay up of that.
I'm shaking my head.
So Taylor Chillingworth, one of the players probably destined for some big things potentially.
Well, she's had an amazing year, national champion, under 23s, under 18s, and just been signed.
Oh yeah, that went past the line.
Yeah, maybe.
Just been signed by San Jose and obviously just come back from Canada with some time with the Australian development teams there. So, yeah, I mean, she's a supreme athlete, great shortstop, and a dangerous batter, as she proved in the national championships when she came in.
The amount of stars that got hits on their debut at bat at that national championships, Taylor Chillingworth included.
Yeah,
it was great to watch.
It was game one against New South Wales, and she came in a spot where the game was tied up, and it was like anything was ready to go, and she did a good job as well.
So hitters count here for Taylor Chillingworth. Gets a good piece of that, straight to the shortstop. Throw to first. That's another out. Rosa Vergara having her first play as shortstop for the Tigers, and that is 2 up, 2 down to start the season.
So Rosa's, as you can see here on the CMAX replay, one of the things that Coach Dolman spoke about in the interview yesterday was that she just loved her feet, like in the sense that she's just really agile. We're probably a little bit criticised here in Australia for not having the greatest of footwork in our infielders, but some great proof there that she's got all of her experience. She's used all of her experience there and stayed low and done a great job. Formerly at West Torrens, now coming over and is one of the experienced players leading off here for the Tigers.
So this is a better position to be in than what the potential is. So you've got the exceptionally deadly Johanna Grauer up to plate, no one on base, 2 outs. That's how you want to face Johanna Grauer.
Well, you normally don't want to face
but I mean, you're going to have to at some point.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that was taken out of Johanna's game last week, that she swung very early in the count. So today already, a little bit more watchful, making sure those at-bats count, because she is a genuine power hitter to anywhere. And of course, following her, you've got the dangerous Jez Maslin, and whilst Bianca Ramsey, who was a dangerous number 7 last week, who unfortunately we've lost to injury.
Spiral fracture in the hand, playing baseball.
Obviously, Gemma Letton as a more than capable replacement. So Tigers showing some smarts here in the sense that they're throwing around Yo Grano. They're not giving her exactly what she wants straight up, so which is good work by the young catcher.
So I'm assuming, Lee, you wouldn't be terribly concerned about walking Johanna Grauer here?
No, depends on the situation, but early I wouldn't think twice about doing it early in the game. We had the previous game, or may have been the first game, that somebody should have actually walked and it tended to hurt. It's play by play, you know.
Yeah.
See what happens. You pitch carefully to the good batters and they walk eventually.
Yeah. So the young catcher, of course, is Bianca Pash. So, you know, for somebody of her young age coming back in, having to work with an A grade, you know, as the team returns to the A grade league, that's a huge thing to put on young players.
Yep.
But you know, so far, Jess Maslin, formerly a Seacombe Tiger herself, playing against her.
True, this would be the first time Jess Maslin's faced off. So we had Steph Collette facing off against her Walkerville Cats ex-team earlier today. So, yeah, here we go. First time Jess Maslin facing off against her former Tigers. She would have spent a bit of time catching Adaha Munro as well.
You would think so, yeah. Long time Seacombe player.
You'd think she would be well dialed in for what the potential Is this going to be... Oh, no, just falling.
Havis making a great effort to get to that ball.
I mean, I'd written that one off quite early and then suddenly realised I had to be paying attention to that.
Yeah.
Bit disappointed our camera operator didn't lay out for a dive himself.
Only the boss man can get away with comments like that.
Yep.
So...
That one low.
So 2 out here. You've got the dangerous Maslin at the plate, Callahan, the premiership hero for the Magpies, and Letton to follow. So to suggest that this is a very, very important at-bat for the Tigers to make sure they can get out of this innings. They've done the work to this point at 2 out.
Pash doing a really good job at the moment, not only getting glove to some of these balls that are moving a bit inside, but Johanna Grauer hasn't even had a whiff of stealing second.
No, true.
Not even willing to challenge that arm.
Yeah.
Yet. Jess Maslin gets a piece of that, just shoots through Mitzi's glove.
It was going, wasn't it?
That was a rocket of a ball. Jess Maslin with a single, and then just like that, the Port Adelaide Magpies with a runner on first and second.
There on the CMAX replay, you can just see she's pulled the ball down the left side. And there's a great example of why dental for schools is an important thing to be worried about, because that ball was a rocket. Obviously wearing a face mask there at third, but wow, it can be a dangerous sport.
So still on the 2 out, Seacombe Tigers through what is potentially the 2 most dangerous batters, but by absolutely no means out of the woods now. This Port Adelaide Magpies batting lineup goes deep. Charlize Callahan up to plate now.
Yeah, state rep under 23s, and obviously the premiership hero last year with that shot up the middle. And then you've got Gemma Letton, who we didn't see in round 1, but her fully loaded form, she was dynamic. And, you know, she had a great season last year, just blew all of her numbers up, 500 on base and batting average. So danger here for the Tigers. They're going to have to dig deep. Good change of pace. That's a good call.
Pitch. Yeah,
really good
pitch.
Yeah. Must be nervous out there. Consider that there's a lot of youth in that infield. Wouldn't have played a lot of matches, obviously, together. So being the first game back, I mean, obviously some of them have played in the B grade together, but holding themselves to a good account so far.
First pitch to make it past Pash advances the runners onto second and third.
Yeah, so Bianca there, she's got a lot going on. She's got base runners, she's 2 out, first innings. Just needs to get that pocket nice and open. Just focus on the ball, keep it simple.
Ooh,
that's a
big
great
swing and a
pitch.
miss, but it's a drop third strike.
They need to get some cover at the plate. If the pitch is not going to come, Munro's not going to come down and do that. Havis is going to have to come down and cover the plate, because otherwise you'll have people running on you all day. So
perhaps a bit of confusion there, but that is a drop third strike, so the runner can advance to first.
Yeah,
Johanna Grauer, was that Johanna Grauer?
Yeah, she scored.
Run comes across from third, so that's the first. Big swing and miss. It's a little bit rough to get a strikeout and see runs come across the plate.
Well, especially when you consider they're at 2 out. That's the heartbreaking thing that's happened there. But Gemma Letton, very aggressive here. She will be looking to bat this run in. And
gets a huge piece of this. It's going to the center field. Tracking under it is Jazz Blight. Seacombe allow one, but get out of danger. Gentlemen, I would consider that a triumphant return.
That's a positive first start. I mean, yeah, they got them to 2 out. They were through the power part of the Premier's lineup, and Coach Lucas isn't going to give them any respite there. And so they held together really well there. So good start.
I mean, that 1, 2, 3, 4 punch of Johanna Grauer, Jess Maslin, Charlize Callahan, and Gemma Letton, that's quite potentially and quite commonly going to bring runs home against the best teams out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And the scary part is now they switched from their defence to offence, and they're now facing NCAA national champion, premiership player, Cath Coral medalist, Johanna Grauer, who sits the ball in at a lazy 103 to 105. It's going to be a rude awakening for some of these young Seacombe hitters.
11. Oh.
So, Lee Hull, would you be able to take us around this Port Adelaide defensive lineup?
I certainly will, and thank you for the opportunity, David.
Perfectly welcome, Lee.
The battery is Johanna Grauer, Jess Maslin. At first base, Holly Tolya. Jess Nevis is second. Charlie's Callahan's at third. And Taylor Chillingworth is in the hole at shortstop. The outfield from left to right, Charlie Nash, Gemma Letton, Zoe Thompson.
So, Georgia Burr out of the lineup for today.
She's not here, I think. I think Coach Lucas said to me she wasn't available today. So
they've had to make a couple of changes, obviously, with Ramsey now injured and out. Letton coming back in is fairly handed, and I noticed that Zoe Thompson has come into right field today, whereas she was off the bench last week. So another young, promising star. I mean, that's the one thing about Port Adelaide. You go through their lineup, and there are just state reps all through it in the junior ranks. But here we got Rosa Vergara
leading things off for the Tigers. Oh, first one in for a strike.
That's what 102 kilometres an hour looks like.
Speaking of saying welcome to the CMAX Premier League, how about that?
Welcome back. So.
Are your eyes open? They are now.
Second one, the change up just a little bit high.
Yeah. You breathe easy again.
I am a big fan of Johanna Grauer's double change up. Oh, another one right down Death Alley.
Yeah. This is as tough a test as anybody can get, but you've got to start somewhere. Might as well do it against the best.
So that's a swing and a miss for Rosa Vergara. First strikeout for Jess Maslin.
Yeah, and Grauer last week, she pitched...
Oh, sorry, for Grauer.
Grauer pitched 3 walks in the first 4 batters. So so that brings up, this is White.
Jazz Blight.
Jazz Blight, sorry. So probably their senior outfielder. So obviously somebody you can see just by the way that she's set up at the plate. Somebody that's obviously slap hitting capable.
Yeah, I
so
noticed very Jackie Beale-esque.
Yeah, you can just see the way with her feet, the way she moves, brings them together, and that's really good batting there. She's done a great job.
Cool, nice swing.
Kevin, no part of that. That's great. You can just see stepping towards. So the infield have already made changes. Chillingworth has come up inside the line, as has Neves at second base. So they're expecting a short slap play. But she's doing a great job of staying off the high pitches that Grauer is throwing right now.
I'll try change up now, because that's the thing she's not expecting.
Strike.
Has a look at it.
She was saying it was too high. Then she's. I didn't think it was high.
Don't want to get too complicated here. Just want to see ball, hit ball at the moment. Keep it nice and simple.
Strikeout. So a lot of these early innings for the Seacombe, it's just going to be getting a feel for the pitches, how the ball moves.
Absolutely.
Getting a read for what kind of the structure and the routine of each individual pitcher is.
Yep. West Torrens only scored 3 earned runs off of her last week. So, I mean, Becky Havis, bit of a different character here. Becky's obviously another player that's been with Seacombe for a while.
She played for the Seacombe side last year that they were in the Premier League, and that would have been the first year that we had Johanna Grauer as well, wouldn't it?
But Becky's a power hitter. Hit 2 or 3 big home runs in the fully loaded, just named into the under-23 state team. So Becky here won't be she'll be a tough out, I reckon, at 2 out.
And she'll be one of the few Tigers that has actually had the opportunity to see a bit of Johanna Grauer pitches as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing too that's weird for the Tigers, unfortunately, is that they've had to wait a week. Like, the league's been going for a week, and this is their first game.
Oh, gets a piece of that one. It's off foul.
You can see straight away that Havis, obviously, good hand speed there. That's why she's in the under-23s. So, but facing Grauer, that's a different, that's a whole different thing. But it's a quality infield that Port have got. You've got the Letton out at centre field, who's got more range than most. Good watching.
She's doing a good job out there so far, reading the pitches. So another thing to note with Georgia Burr out for today, we do have Jess Maslin forming the second half of this battery. Havis gets a piece of this one. It is up high, tracking underneath it. Taylor Chillingworth. Oh, that one was moving around in the sky a little bit. You could see her readjust a couple of times. Yeah. But safe glove, safe out, Taylor Chillingworth. Yeah,
that's a really difficult catch to take because obviously you're coming off the dirt field onto the grass field. And you can see now on the CMAX replay, Havis gets underneath the pitch really high. And as Chillingworth backs up, she knows that the lip of the grass is behind her where she's going to have to change her footing, but stays just inside, and she does a great job tracking the ball in, and that's why she's a gun.
All right, after the first inning, Port Adelaide Magpies 1, Seacombe Tigers 0. Welcome back. Top of the second, leading things off is Charlie Nash. Now, gentlemen, my personal favorite Boost Juice is the King William chocolate way back in the day. You better trust me to go to a healthy venue and find it. It's like back when Subway was doing their health ads and I'd go there and have a meatball sub. It's just like, well, that's kind of not the point.
Well, anybody that's seen the side profile of me knows that I'm a gym junkie.
You're a gym junkie guy?
Yeah, so...
Do you get the power supplements chucked in there as well?
Oh, of course I would have to. I would need to. So, but it's always funny. I sort of have a look at those little protein balls they've got at the front, the chocolate ones, and they always look at me like, yeah, probably don't need that, young fella. Keep on walking. So, for the Seacombe Tigers Dental for Schools pitcher, Aurora Munro, getting us started here in the second, facing one of the young state reps, another one of the young state reps that the Magpies have got in Charlie Nash. So, interesting fact, Lee, you'd appreciate this little piece of trivia.
Right.
Annalee was the state coach of the under-17 state boys. She was the assistant, state coach. When Ben Lucas was a player.
That's right. Yeah.
So
Tracy Burr, I think, was the manager of it.
Yeah. So who would have thought that 10, 12 years later on, that having coached him at state, that she would be coaching against him in the Premier League?
Well, who would have thought that? Not me.
So Charlie Nash walks and now advances to second base.
Yeah. So
brings to the plate. Holly told you.
Yeah. So young Bianca Pash got to get a handle on these, on trying to glove these balls. They're not coming in as hard as what I think either she or maybe we think as well. But we've got to start limiting that stuff hitting the dirt, because any opportunities they give up the opposition for free, it's going to be dangerous. So
yeah, and contrary to that is Joanna Grau's pace, they stick in the glove.
That's right.
And with the off-pace sort of stuff, just catching the outside edge.
Yeah, she's not throwing hard.
No.
She's throwing with as much spin as possible. Havis.
Oh!
Great effort. What a great effort. That's a contender for CMAX performance of the day as Havis comes in from first base a la Amber Hood style in game 2. And we all sort of thought the play was dead, but Havis kept on going. She knew where it was, takes it right in front of it, running in towards near the fence. That's a great out.
It's a fantastic out.
And Zoe Thompson, the
number 9 hitter.
Probably one of the fastest players in the CMAX Premier League.
And there's a lot of fast runners in the CMAX Premier League.
Yeah. Can do a bit of pitching, playing outfield today. And trying to exploit her speed opportunity there with the Tigers defence first and third, both sitting quite deep for a left-handed batter of this type. You saw the innings before that when when the number 2 batter for the Tigers did the same thing. The Port infield came in. The trick, of course, here with Munro at the pace that she's throwing, trying to put more spin on it. Thompson's just got to, as she's walking through her slap, she's just got to make sure that she just holds her hands back and just keeps them there as long as she can and see all of the ball. Ooh.
So for those who may not be necessarily familiar, one of the key differences between the slap and the bunt, well, the slap, it's pretty much only lefties that you'll see do it, but they get that little bit of an advantage on their run to first through the mechanic of their swing.
Yep.
So that when they do put the ball into play just like that,
that is a perfectly
they're halfway to first and rounding third and coming home, Port Adelaide, bringing Tolya.
Wow.
And that's a slap that turns into a RBI double.
That's the danger
for Zoe Thompson.
That's the danger of what you can see done there on the CMAX Premier League replay. You can see that the centre field's come across and done actually a good job. Didn't even extend it. She just left the bat there and a job done. Lucas sends the runner. But we don't have the camera that shows the cut off by Havis in the middle. Could have been a play at the plate opportunity there, but that's the danger of what a slap hitter does. The reality is that the momentum of them walking through the zone, if they leave the bat there, you're basically bouncing the ball off of whatever the pitch is throwing. And that's a great job by Zoe Thompson.
And when you've got someone who's good at the slap, the thing is, it can be really tricky on that defense, especially the infield, because you expect it to be similar to a bunt that just kind of like plops right in front.
Field's got to change.
But you can actually get it almost up to the grass as well, quite easily.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you saw in that replay, she didn't actually swing through. She just left her bat there, and just as she was running through, that was all it took. The other thing that you notice, how many times have you seen a bang-bang play at first base because the right-handed hitter grinds out to the shortstop? A slap hitter's 4 feet closer. How many times is that going to make a difference?
Yeah, just that little bit of difference in how quickly you can start making your way to first. Jess Nevis chases after that.
And the benefit of the slap is that you get the infield charging in, and all of a sudden you belt the ball at them. And that is very difficult to field. So that's one of the big pluses, especially if you're a right-handed hitter. Third base will come in thinking it's a bunt and then get ball drilled at them.
So Jess Neves
just struggling to get on top of the pace.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she's over the top of it.
Well, I mean, the good thing about Neves is that she's a very simple compact hitter. She's not trying to do too much with it, but she sees the ball well. She's not super tall, so she's got a small zone, so they're going to have to throw into her. But she's just getting caught across the plate there, which just suggests that she's just struggling to get a read on the pace there. Munro's starting to look a little bit frustrated, but she's doing a really good job out there at the moment. You know, again, unlike Grau, doesn't have an 100K weapon that she can just, you know, challenge hitters with. She's having to work real hard. She's got a young catcher behind the plate. Tiger's doing a good job here. Needs to stick with it.
Never's doing a good job of staying alive here. She's been on that 1-2 count for a couple of pitches now.
Yeah, I think she's a better batter off a quicker pitching, Jess, as we've seen in this turn at bat.
Well, one of her old nicknames was the Magic Maker, because you just put her in there and you never know what kind of magic she would make.
Yeah, so fully loaded. I mean, she came back late last season in the premiership run, and unfortunately was good in the field but didn't have much with the bat.
Gets a piece of that one. It's going to find a gap. Zoe Thompson rounding third, coming home.
So that's how
quick.
That's Jordan Harris level quick. That's crazy. Like,
that is incredible speed.
She was already at the plate when that ball was just starting to make its way in. So Neves wins the battle, just drives it up the centre, keeps it simple.
Makes a bit of magic.
And the boss man calls it. That's why he's here.
Who gave her that nickname?
We can only...
It was probably a Lee Hull, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. No, I'm not putting my hand up for that rubbish.
Taylor Chillingworth comes to the plate to try and keep the momentum on here. But
okay, I'd like to challenge producer Brandon to get a Magic Maker tally up here. And we'll just see how many times Jess Neves makes something happen. I think you'll be surprised by the number. It's definitely good to have her back in the CMAX Premier League.
So Chillingworth
gets a piece of that one straight to the shortstop. Double play opportunity. And it's called out. Double play.
How often do you see that happens with a runner on a base, and especially at first, and then a line drive goes to the shortstop?
Well, you see here in the CMAX Premier replay, Neves has come off. It does, well, I wouldn't say it was a hit and run, but she did lead a long way off. The important thing there was that Havas had already set herself up, and she was nice and far out. And so the DFS Tigers get a very, very valuable double play and gets them out of some trouble.
Two runs.
2 runs.
Making 3.
So Rosa Vergara, that's 2 times in a row that she's taking care of Taylor Chillingworth as well.
Yeah, I mean, Taylor's hitting the ball, starting to hit the ball really well. They're fully loaded form. She had to, lots of mixture of different types of young pitchers. She never really got settled. She had, a couple of good shots here and there, but watching her at bats against West Torrens last week and today, as this season goes on, she is going to get better and better. Obviously, she's got the under-23s Nationals tournament in December, so you expect big things from her there. So, but here we go in the bottom of the second, leading it off for the Denver Schools Seacombe Tigers. It's their pitcher, Araha Munro. Straight away jammed across the plate for speed.
Pace, beaten for pace.
Probably hasn't been seen a lot of 100 Ks from a NCAA Premiership Catholic Coral superstar that Johanna Grauer is. So,
how good was she in the Gilly Shield? Oh, Johanna Grauer, fantastic.
Yeah. Bat and ball.
Yep.
And she's back here defending it in January.
Adaha chases after one high.
It's hard for these young kids coming up against somebody so good like that, because the reality is you want to take some pitches and see the ball and start to get a bit of a feel for the pace. But the reality is she's so good she's going to be throwing strikes. You don't have that time, and what a change-up.
Oh, chases after that one. Scooped up. No! Oh. Missed opportunity there. Adaha Munro makes it to first, and the Seacombe Tigers have their first base runner.
There you go. Keep fighting, and she does. She sees the change up, takes it. Chillingworth charges in, and you can just see, again, with Chillingworth being as tall as she is, just getting down to that low rolling ball. It was interesting, Sophie Roberts was talking pre-game about the fact that even though with all the rain that we've had this week, the ground's hardened up, whereas last week it was very soft. So
now Seacombe Tigers with the challenge of moving runners around the bases, and first up is Michaela Pearson. Watches the first two.
Hard to do anything with that as a batter, isn't it? It's hard, fast, it's inside and it's low.
Yeah, they're all going to be tough at-bats today. Lots to learn here. That's a good swing. So one of the quieter players Coach Dolman was talking about, but really improved at every sort of training throughout their pre-season, and just continues to evolve and get better. Part of their youth driving them forward. No shame in being beaten by Grau. At least she got in there and had a fight for it. Just got beaten on a breaking ball.
The problem is with young batters, they fall into the trap. The faster they pitch, the harder I've got to swing.
Yeah.
Well, that's wrong.
Yeah,
but
it is.
That'll come with experience. You'll get out of that habit.
Yeah. Georgia Tompkinson comes to the plate. Young state rep, playing outfield today, but can also pitch. Been doing some work in that regard as well. Had some good moments in the fully loaded competition. Played a bit of second base there as well.
Jess Maslin just keeping Adaha Munro honest.
But it's just great to see the Tigers back. And
so good.
I mean, anytime you play the Magpies now, especially on their premiership defence, it's going to be tough. That's a good swing. Maslin doing a good job of using both sides of the plate, not just sort of probably accentuating Grauer's strengths on the inside of the plate, but she's also challenging those hitters on the outside as well.
Ooh.
And Grauer already a week later after game one last week in round one, she's you can just see that she's better today. She had much more control early in the first innings. So ominous signs for the rest of the Premier League. She's just one of those players that gets better every time she works. The longer the game goes, the better she gets. She's just a supreme athlete.
So Georgia Tompkinson here with a 2-2 count. Oh no, was that a 3-2 count? Watches that one for a strikeout.
Yeah, she's a dangerous pitcher to watch, Grauer. She's got weapons on both sides of the plate. So you really want to try and have that intent when you're facing a pitcher like Grauer, when you go there, that you're basically going to the plate to hit. You really have to have that positive, strong intent.
So Schumacher into pitcher catch-up, pitcher speed-up rule, Adaha Munro.
Schumacher, yeah. In there because she's lightning fast, and you can already see her jumping deep off the first base there, so obviously playing her particular role.
So Briellen Dunn now at the plate, the number 7 batter for the Seacombe Tigers.
Yeah, coming down from Tanunda to play for the DFS Seacombe Tigers. So obviously playing third base, but Coach Dolman very impressed with her ability to hit the ball long. But when you're facing the power of Grauer, as Lee would say, trademark, yeah, that's a tough, good exposure. You can just see there Becky Havis. I don't know if we just picked that up, but just Becky Havis just talking about shortening up the grip, splitting the hands. Just got to make sure that when you're going in and you're taking this type of player on, you can't just stand there and swing.
No.
All right, so gentlemen, after 2 innings, that's the Port Adelaide Magpies 3, Seacombe Tigers 0. The Port Adelaide Magpies potentially looking to bring in a fresh recruit. I believe Maggie is the name that she goes by. Probably needs to get off the field because Magpies are batting right now. Maybe not the best recruit out there, but...
I wouldn't be standing out there if Johanna Grauer's at the plate. No, thank you.
So leading things off for the Port Adelaide Magpies, the real Magpies, Johanna Grauer, Jess Maslin, and then Charlize Callahan. A challenge for this Seacombe defence that has been doing some good things.
Yeah, well, you can see now Munro goes ahead in the count here. A watchful Grauer, unusual for her, taking the first pitch, the second pitch there, swings hard, and you can just see fouls that one off. And a bit of what Lee said earlier, just after this pitch.
Ooh, gets a big piece of that one. That is going left field, tracking underneath her. Pearson, but it's dropped. Johanna Grauer rounding third. Standing up safely. So just like that, Port Adelaide Magpies runner on third.
Yeah, that's a difficult play. You look in the Premier League here on the CMAX replay, she's looking into the late sun there in the afternoon, so that ball's dropping on her. Difficult, but great work by Centrefield to come over there and be as the backup. And of course, once Grauer gets going, third was always her destination there.
Jess Maslin gets a piece on that one straight away. Becky Havis, proving to be an absolute rock at first base, gets the out.
Good coverage there, really important. You got the power hitter, Maslin. She's just been jammed on the hands. Takes it, keeps Grauer at 3. So the important thing here for Pash behind the plate, nothing in the dirt. Don't give Grauer a free base. Make them earn it. Good pitch by Munro there. Off speed, just get some good break on the ball. And what I was alluding to with what Lee was talking before, these young Seacombe Tigers hitters coming up, trying to swing hard against pace. The flip side of that, ironically, is that when someone like Munro's maybe throwing maybe 20 k's slower than what Grauer is, you see these Port Adelaide players coming up and they're also swinging hard. They've got to make some adjustments as well, Lee.
Yeah, they certainly do. And it's all about learning, isn't it? It is all about learning, especially when you're a young player. Look at that.
Charlize Callahan bringing home Johanna Grauer. Bit of a bobbled ball out there. Charlize Callahan rounding second, gonna stay put there. So an RBI single errored into a double?
Yeah, that's an error, unfortunately. So Pearson, Callahan just smashes the ball. Needs to sort of transfer her weight, get behind the ball, not just lead her hand across her body to sort of try and field that. But again, young player, these are all learning opportunities, and that's what the Tigers are getting today.
So if we can get a shot of the, Charlize Callahan advancing on that run.
Good job by Pash to come up and recognise that.
It was almost...
Yep, she's recovered that really well. Callahan sees the ball spill, so takes the opportunity.
Just a little bit high on the throw.
Yeah.
Gemma Letton gets a huge piece of this. Tracking under it is Blight, but that was always going to be a difficult catch with the sun. Gemma Letton advancing to second, bringing home Callahan, and the Magpies' bats are cracking. Yeah,
that's a great effort by Jazz Blight. That was Abby Jorgeness, I would say, Lee, as she comes running in.
Fair enough.
Full extension to sort of try and make that catch work. But again, looking into the sun, that's
if we can get the replay from Carl's position with a little bit more lead in before the pitch, I think you'll see just how much they're having to shield their eyes ahead of the play. Like that sun is, the clouds have disbanded, and now we've got a sun shining right into them. So look right in the center, you've got the glove up. So she's got that glove up just to be able to see the hit. Now she's tracking the ball, and that's where that ball is and where she's running. She's looking directly into the sun there.
Yeah, playing in the infield in the afternoon is no good. 4 o'clock and Diamond 1 as a second base is a nightmare. But by the time it gets to the late game at 6, centre field, left field, right, it's no fun out there whatsoever. So Young Tigers have just got to stick with it.
So at the plate now, Charlie Nash.
Yes, another one of these talented state reps that the Magpies have got. So the danger here for the DFS Tigers is the fact that they're going to be coming back through the top of the line soon. And it's still early days. You know, we're halfway through the game in time. And some of these Magpie hitters are going to be having their third look at the young pitcher Munro. So
quick base running again puts Gemma Letton on third now.
Yeah, any opportunity. As soon as the balls hit the dirt, Letton's gone every time.
Charlie Nash gets a good piece of that one, scooped up by the shortstop, checks the runner, throws to first, makes the out. Gemma Letton challenging the arms of the Seacombe defense and sliding home safely. She was held and still managed to come home.
Yeah, Rosa was lucky there. She did the right thing. She stayed low, and she probably could have thrown it a touch earlier. I mean, holding Letton
was safe.
You're never gonna hold Letton like that. Third base has got to get over there and cover that ball at the plate too. They've, again, lots to learn for Seacombe today. Just
big piece of the ball from that.
Oh, what an effort. So
Heads up running.
Yeah, great running.
Talia making it to second. I think we were all just fixated on this catch opportunity right on the grass edge.
Yeah, you can see on the CMAX replay, she just sort of punches at the ball, but all the players are drawn to where the ball is, and nobody stays at the base. Shortstop probably should have stuck at second. The outfielders were there to back it up. They didn't all need to be there, but I apologise for repeating, but today, as I said, for the Tigers, it's just a real big learning experience.
So, I mean, this is the defending championship side. This is a team that is going to punish you everywhere they possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, you're preparing for a game which you know is going to be difficult, but you don't really have any idea of what you're going to look like. That's what we talked about. We talked about round one last week when Eric was asking, what does round one bring you? And what it does is it just gives you validation of what your pre-season's done. Now, talking to Coach Dolman yesterday, couldn't be more excited about the path that the Tigers are on. She is the perfect person to be doing the role that she's doing. Again, it's a mixture of, youth and experience, but the yardstick is the Port Adelaide Magpies in the CMAX Premier League. And that's who they're playing right now. And so they'll be able to walk away from today and say, so right now, an hour into the game, the gap between us and the Premier is 6. And they can go away and work on that. And you need that information to go back and say, right, we need to learn about crossing our arm over at left field. We need to make sure that somebody's covering the base at shortstop. These are all things that are going to happen in their debrief. It's a big ask. You've got young Pash behind the plate doing a great job, but she's going to know that any time that the ball gets spilled in this league at this level, it's a run.
Yeah.
It's just, unfortunately, there's...
And if not a run, if there's a runner on, then they're going to advance.
Yeah, so it's just, unfortunately, it's going to be one of those processes. We saw the Rebels go through it last year. And good job by Pash there. We saw the Rebels go through it last year, and what the Rebels did was that they improved. Every time you saw them, and by the end of the season, they beat Walkerville before Christmas. They beat up on Hills after Christmas, and all of a sudden they were a really tough game running towards the end of the season, and I think you'll see Seacombe do the same thing. So the one noticeable thing here from Zoe Thompson, unlike the young slap hitter for the DFS Tigers, who was
Jazz Blight.
You can just see no unnecessary movement. She's doing everything she needs to do, but her hands are steady, and that's why she's able to...
another big piece of that one.
Control the ball.
Once again dropped almost the exact same spot, brings in Talia. And Zoe Thompson, 2 for 2 on the running slap.
And there you go. That's the danger of what that type of player can do. She's not over, she's not doing anything over the top. That one, she did just push her hands forward at it.
Not to mention, both of these slaps, RBIs.
Yeah. And, from your number 9 hitter bringing back the lead off, it's great coaching by Lucas.
Jess Nevers, good piece of the ball here. That's going to roll to the centre outfield. Oh, aggressive base running by the Port Adelaide, but they are going to get caught out on that one. Zoe Thompson tries to steal an extra bag, but that relay in from the Seacombe Tigers was on point.
No, that's a good call by Coach Lucas. I mean, you can see Thompson was already running. Young Pearson's had some work to do out there, and he's just keeping the pressure on them, and so he should. They're the reigning premier. They don't owe Seacombe anything in regards to looking after them, but the important thing was that they were able to execute that. He's forcing left field to field the ball, come up, make a good throw.
So, I mean, it's challenging the Seacombe defence.
Absolutely.
It's like, okay, look, if you do everything right, this is going to be a guaranteed out, but can you do everything right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can your third base under the pressure with a runner bearing down on them, can they make that clean glove, make the tag out?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the good thing for Seacombe is the DFS Tigers is that they're not going to face Johanna Grauer every Saturday. So they're going to get an opportunity to look at some different types of pitching, different speeds, and as they evolve, they'll get better. Coach Dolman's got great experience from her time in the US, great experience from her Australian rep early on, and she was a gun player. She was one of those types of players. She was an athlete. Lee, you remember that? She was good, and she was so good that you basically couldn't really say she was a shortstop, she was a pitcher, she was an outfielder. She could sort of play everywhere. That type of players that reach that level.
I think a lot of it's a mix. It's about seeing the pitches more than once, right? So the more you see them, the more you get used to what sort of pitches they throw and what sort of given situations. And also it's about gaining confidence in your own ability.
So Bianca Pash up to the plate now.
Yes.
The Tigers still going their first round through the lineup.
Yep. So Jennifer School's Seacombe Tigers lead-off batter, Bianca Pash. And the thing to remember about this young player is that's exactly what she is. She's a young player. And so this is an environment where you've got Callahan, premiership player, Chillingworth, who basically played in every representative side that we could muster last year, plus her Australian stuff. I mean, she's facing a pitcher that's thrown at NCAA double level. She's pitched a winning grand final. She's a Cath Coral medalist. I mean, she's an absolute jet, throwing missiles, and you're a young player just making your way in A grade, and your club's just come back to the league. I mean, asking an awful lot of these young players, but they will be so much better for the experience. That's a really good job by Pash there. Sort of Grauer going to some of her stock there. Inside hard, breaking low on the hands. And Pash meets that ball across the plate, but gets good contact on it. Good smile there. I believe that's
count.
Coach Pearson, the assistant coach, up on first base there, giving some good encouragement.
Oh, that was going.
You see the look.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think she's just asking.
They're getting a replay up on that one.
I think Pash is just asking if Jess Maslin would mind. Maybe, can you maybe not call it inside anymore?
Yeah.
I'm having a tough enough day as it is, please. Good watching. That's really
She's doing
good
a
watching.
really good watching that ball.
Hey, for the DFS Tigers, you can just looking at her face, it was terrible.
The ball.
Yeah. No, this is a really good lead-off bat. Regardless of the outcome, she's doing a great job.
Hello, throw that one away too.
Yeah.
I mean, taking Yo Grauer to a full count.
Yeah.
You keep hitting the bat, and that's what's happening to it.
But that's what the Tigers need now. I mean, you just need to get some base runners on, as simple as that sounds against Yo Grauer.
No small task.
Just to try and create some pressure on the field. Never know what might happen, but so far, a really good at-bat.
Change up now.
And there she does it.
Should have
Gets
been.
the walk.
Well done, Bianca Pash. That's impressive. Super impressive. Challenges her with a low ball. I mean, Grail wouldn't have meant to put it in the dirt. It's done that way. Maslin does a great job picking it up, but Pash stays off of it and brings up
Sasha
Mutsi. Young player, played a bit of time at shortstop, but obviously has a rocket arm, Coach Dolman said. But again, another one of these young Seacombe players. So getting her first look at Johanna Grauer. Well, now she knows what 100 k's an hour looks like. So
The thing that makes it so hard for the Tigers as well is just how quickly Jess Maslin is going to be straight back up, ready to gun down anything.
yeah, absolutely. I like this by Coach Dolman. I mean, traditionally when you're 7-zip down, you know, playing the short game isn't probably high on your agenda. But what she's asking her team is just to execute stuff that they would have practiced in their pre-season and to do it against the benchmark of the competition. So it's a good coach by Coach Dolman. Tries to clear her hands, and you can see how far behind she is in bat speed there. She's made contact with that ball behind the plate. I think Jess Maslin's copping foul balls and every type of thing there at the dirt.
I thought she
That one got into the neck.
Right
I
under the
thought
guard.
she attempted to eat it.
It's just
Lee, you can't say that. Yeah, and
Once he
that's,
strikes out.
Oh,
Yeah.
it comes up ready to fire.
I'll tell you one thing today, yeah, not entirely sure that shin guard's done exactly what it is.
No. There's a
Taking,
ball lobbed in there,
she
isn't it?
doesn't look super comfortable. I must confess I wouldn't be if I took a ball at 100 k's an hour and into the throat. Brings us back to the top of the lineup.
So Rosa Vergara. So this is the first batter getting their second look at
Yeah.
Johanna Grauer.
Yeah. She struck out. Yeah. You can just see bat speed there. That's a lot of what this is. She's just, you know, her head's forward, her shoulders out, and the bat's across the plate, and the ball's already there. So
I'm not going long handle against Johanna Grau.
no, well,
I'm shortening up and just trying to punch the ball somewhere.
yeah, and
So the swinging, full-blooded swing's not going to work with this pitcher.
no, and Becky Havis, and credit to her for somebody of her age, she was the one over there when they were huddled together. She was the one saying to get your hands up the grip here. Vergara, probably because she's a bit more experienced, thinking that she can try and go with her. But bat speed at the moment.
Just
And Bianca Pash gets a reprieve from all of her hard work as she is relieved by the speedy Schumacher. No pun intended.
that being said, though, I don't
That's
think
not
Schumacher's
bad.
going to
That's
have.
not bad. That's Lee Hull level.
No, it's not that good. It's not bad, though.
Right. So what we want to see here from,
Contact.
well, yeah, but a little bit less movement in the box. Just
Contact.
Focus on
Contact the ball.
focus on the ball.
So runner advances to second.
She's got a bit of a look about a 55. It reminds me of a player that I was lucky enough to coach for a season, Hayley Norris, back in the day, that left-handed hitter who had the ability to slap, bunt, but she could just stand there as a hitter and just hit the ball long as well.
With her eyes shut.
Yeah, good pitcher too, good outfielder.
So that's another pass ball.
Now the same person's now a mother of twins.
Yeah,
One of each. How good is that?
absolutely. And quickly, like that,
Yeah, Sigrid Schumacher standing on third now.
going for lap records, she's over to third base already.
And that's a couple of pitches from you, Grauer, that's gone awry.
And this is what we were talking before about the young catcher for the DFS Tigers in Pash. Anything loose here, Schumacher scores.
Shoemaker's got good wheels.
Nobody's better.
No idea what's going
No
on.
idea, I know. Shoemaker.
Okay, yeah.
Wheels. Rum.
Oh, no.
So it brings it up to a 2-2 count.
Yeah. Just needs that. If you just look at the hands, the bat's just flying around. Just needs to
contact, then run.
Just. The funny thing is, against different pitching, against some of the slower pitching in the league, she'll go well.
Yeah, because you're about to get there.
Yeah. So, but against this type of speed, it's a very busy at bat.
There's a run out there at third. Bring her in, girl.
You can also notice here, Dave, you were talking before, see how close Jess Neves was fielding? She was fielding pretty much between the pitcher and first base. She was right in that hole to defend anything slow there at the plate, just respecting the speed that Blight's got. But
here's their chance now.
I was about to say, the one batter that's actually split her contest with Grauer is Havis, and here we go. Anything's possible in softball. I mean, we saw that a little bit in the last game when the Rebels kept on sending up opportunities. You know, deep ball here to the fence. All of a sudden, because she's got wheels on first, so just needs to make good clean contact. Good watching. Good call by Dolman too, Coach Goldman. Didn't just rest on their laurels, took the risk at 2 out that Port, we're just going to challenge the batter.
Knowing the pace of your runners.
Yep.
That's part of it, and part of the big deal of being a coach.
Good.
Oh, good piece of the ball there.
Yeah. No, Havis is a quality batter, no doubting that, and she's got genuine power too. So, and it's not power from, you know, like what you would suggest an excessive amount of time in the gym, even though she's a supreme athlete. She's just got a great sense of timing. So I don't know if that's the Eastern Ghost in her hands. Sort of looks like it might be, but some of those home runs she hit in the fully loaded comp were they were big shots.
Havis gets a big piece of that one. That is landing fair, bringing in 1 run, bringing in 2. She's rounding second and going for third. Safe. Have a day out, Havis.
And look at the Tigers. Look at the DFS Tigers. Dental for Schools.
Gee, that was a great shot off a pitcher of this quality.
Yeah. She has been super impressive. And again, we're talking, Lee, about some of these other batters getting beaten for pace on the end of the handles. Look at Munro here. She's come up and she's right on the end of the bat. Yep. Havis has respected what's happening in the middle, and she was up the handle and still got the result.
Beautiful slide into third as well.
Oh, yeah.
So Adaha Munro now still with a runner on third.
Yep, 2 out. How many runs have been scored on 2 out today?
rallies, let's do them.
Game 1, game 2. Game's never over.
So Adaha Munro was the first of the Tigers to reach base. It was off of an error by Taylor Chillingworth, but nevertheless put the ball into play, see what happens. That's step 1, put the ball into play.
Contact is the key here, so that's better. As soon as it was up on the signage.
4 runs in this game by my tally, with 2 out.
Yeah, right.
So far.
It's been a crazy day.
It's been an interesting day, to say the least.
I was going to say before, one thing I've noticed about Maslin today, when Tilton took over and we talked about how impressive she was catching, Maslin today's been super sharp. Just everything's a little bit quicker. She's just moving around a little bit better. Just, you know, the pass ball, the couple of pass balls have been genuine sort of off the dirt stuff that she couldn't have done much with. She's been super impressive.
And she's
yeah,
that's right. But she's super competitive too.
Oh, she is.
Yeah,
She's
never lose sight of that fact.
Yeah, and how good's this? I mean, you've got an absolute gun in the middle at 2 out, reigning premier, but you're taking the time to just go out and give your pitcher you're just trying to walk, you know, so just telling her to just sort of settle down, take a breath, go back to what works. So
Shoemaker jumping in on first for the pitcher speed-up rule. Up at the plate now, Michaela Pearson. Runners on second and third, as once again the uncontested steal.
Yeah. So Pearson's just got to keep this simple and just bat on ball contact here. She's just throwing a walk. She's right at the end of her handle too, so she's swinging long, which is probably not ideal against this pace. So now she's made an adjustment.
Slight.
0-2 count. Chases after that one, and that is a strikeout to get out of the innings. But first runs scored for the Seacombe Tigers. The score is now 7-2 as we head to the fourth.
That's impressive. I mean,
So the Seacombe Tigers returning to the CMAX Premier League. Very, very difficult first opponent to take in the defending champions, and still very much unchanged lineup from that premiership, the Port Adelaide Magpies. But couple of great defensive plays, a double play in there, and now a monster 2 RBI triple for Havis.
yeah, Becky Havis, CMAX maximum effort player of the day opportunity, because she's been the Tigers' shining light so far for the Dental for Schools Seacombe return to the CMAX Premier League, and on a day where obviously with one of their architects of the club returning to the league not doing well, and shout out to Chappie. Hope he's watching this and hope and enjoying seeing a lot of the work that he contributed to get this team back to where it is. And you can see with the Seacombe players with their bows, their black and gold blows, you can see they've got their numbers on there, which has been done. Great attention to detail by Coach Dolman. That's not a positive sign though. A 4-pitch walk as Munro starting to look a little bit sore late in the game here.
Do the Seacombe Tigers have another pitcher?
Tompkinson is somebody that could definitely come in and throw. They've also got... I knew you were going to ask that question, and I had it all down.
Well, just for the history, so Adaha Munro would pitch quite a bit for the Seacombe Tigers, although back in those days she would pitch
was
under 18s, Bs and then As, but she was partnered up with Jade Peterson, so they would share the duties in the Prem.
Yeah.
Yo Grauer fouls that one off.
Look at that spin.
So...
I don't know if it was the Pearson girl. Forgive me if I'm...
So
it is Bryony Pearson. Sorry,
Pearson.
my apologies. That's the left fielder.
Yo Grauer gets a piece of that one.
Up the middle.
Darts its way through gloves. Rounding for third is Taylor Chillingworth. Speed on the bases, making opportunities here for the Magpies.
Yeah, the dangerous thing here, though, is that the pitcher at left field hasn't warmed up a pitch yet. So the CMAX replay, you can see there, ball hit up the middle by Grauer hard. Vigario tries to stop it. Chillingworth was already on her way.
Yes.
She knew exactly what was going on there. And now the dangerous Maslin comes to the plate at 1-3.
Ball passed, and that's going to bring Chillingworth home for another Port Adelaide Magpie run. Yo Grauer just holding up at second.
Yeah, and that's a hard lesson to learn there for the young Pash girl. You know, the 1-3 split, whether or not the runner's going, but when you see the bat across the plate, just something in your eye line makes it real hard. And then when the pitcher puts the ball low like that, you're not much you can do about it.
Jess Maslin, good piece of the ball, but that one's going to swing foul.
Yeah, she recognised that she was way early on that one. She was all over it. So, but isn't it funny, like those outfielders on that last play you just saw, you know, 40 minutes ago, they had their hands and their gloves in front of their faces. Now, temperatures drop 10 degrees, the light's even, but it's a different environment that they're playing in now.
Maslin watches that one go.
Havas taking over, covering the plate, acknowledging that Munro's starting to struggle a little bit with the amount of pitching she's done. So
I always think it's better to have your first base. They're not involved, so get them down there.
Yeah.
Keep your pitcher out. You might have a gun pitcher. She gets cleaned up at the plate. Now you haven't got a gun pitcher. You know.
Johanna Grauer advancing to third as well. Jess Maslin, big piece of the ball. It's high in the air, tracking it, drops fair. Johanna Grauer will step over home plate. And that's just one of those ones, what do you call it, a dead quail? The ball that just kind of drops?
yeah, I must confess I've never heard
That
of that.
might be
Yeah.
a filthy baseball term I'm bringing over.
It was a high ball, and you could see that both centre and right. I mean, centre had her arms out, whether or not it was maybe her ball or right field's ball. Again, a learning opportunity there for communication. So,
Sorry, Brandon, the producer, is that one popped up high, foul territory, foul. Yeah, it's dead quail because it just drops out of the sky. That's Brandon, producer, cannot handle it at all.
I mean, today we've got it all. We've got dead quails, and we've got speed. Schumacher's got wheels. We've got it's all happening today. The wheels have completely come off. So Charlie Callahan comes to the plate, thankfully, to give us some respite. But
Give you some respite.
but yeah, look, I mean, it's difficult. So difficult plays out there.
So Callahan's having a good game today. As Brandon still just breathe. Deep inhales there, Brandon.
Yeah.
So Callahan, she's the one that got on base on that drop third strike, which also brought in some runs.
Yep.
Then also hit an RBI double. So she's having a good day out here today.
Well, look, I mean, comparatively, if you want to look at Glenelg's first opportunity against Sturt last week after their pre-season, they were blown out of the water in an hour, and, you know, it all fell apart real quick. They bounced back today and were much more positive. But this is Seacombe's first genuine hit out. So,
Charlize Callahan, good piece of the ball. That one's going to land fair. Jess Maslin holding up at second. Base hit. That's 3 for 3 on base for Charlize Callahan.
Well, they're, I mean, starting to get hard to figure out who's going to be the CMAX player of the day at the moment. So, Havas for the DFS Tigers has been impressive.
See,
Callahan.
That's always the trick. Because some people would argue that the simple rule, Gemma letting up to Platt, is that the winning team must always be the one that produces the best player.
No, I don't agree with
But
that.
No.
I don't agree with that either.
I think that's an easy cop-out myself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Havas
She's
genuinely been an exceptional...
If you look at players that have influenced the game for Seacombe, for the DFS Tigers, Havas has been instrumental in that regard. So,
Yep.
Port Adelaide have had lots of positive contributors. Zoe Thompson's 2 slap RBIs, and, you know, some great base running. So she's been super impressive. Grauer's on top. Maslin's caught really well. Callahan's the standout. It's been a really good team performance by the Magpies.
And Grau's been on base 3 out of 3.
Yeah.
Times, so.
Yeah. And look, you know, as I said, last week they lose to Premiers. They lose to West Torrens 5-4 in the grand final rematch round 1, but 4-3 on earned runs. But you look at that game a little bit more closely, you know, they're around the mark. So this is an important win for Port in the sense that, you know, just to tie it up 1-1.
Letton gets a good piece of that one. Tracking under that one is Blight. Makes the out. Runners stay put. There you go.
Yeah, she's got good wheels out there.
Yeah.
You can definitely see, I mean, again, looks like a youngish player, but she's read that really well. You know, that's difficult in the sense that Letton leans back, gets sort of caught on the inside and doesn't fully extend her arms. But
she'll be better for the run,
yeah,
Gemma.
Yeah, absolutely. But Blight's had to, you know, shield her eyes from the sun. Now she's seen the ball in fading light. So good effort by her.
Charlie Nash pops that one up. Just going to drop safely, foul. So as the temperature drops, when the ball traveling through the air, that's not going to travel as far, is it? It's just going to kind of drop out of the sky.
Well,
like
maybe not like a quail, as you said before, but yeah.
But it is like the condition, as in the outfield, from the start of the game to the end of the game, that ball's going to be behaving slightly differently in the air.
Yeah, it's more about the fading light. That's where you know, the balls, I mean, they're a fluoro yellow. But when you've been squinting for the first hour of the day and then now you're sort of trying to readjust, it's the ball, like the way that Munro's throwing as well, the ball's not coming clean off. We're not getting long line drives. We're either getting high pop-ups or ground outs. So
Charlie Nash chases after that one, but it's another drop third strike. Jess Maslin,
thankfully,
looking at it as home plate wasn't covered, but
yeah. Yeah, they need to make sure of that. That's an unwritten rule. You've got to be covering the plate when the catcher's not there, because the West Torrenses of the world will exploit those types of mistakes. Port will exploit that. So Sturt will definitely exploit that.
The falling quail you were talking about, David.
yes.
I'd hate to see that happen and hit something like a walking snail.
What? Look, I'm going to have to send you into prison for that, and I am not even going to put up your bail.
What, $2.50?
No, I thought we were just doing a rhyming thing.
Yeah, we were. Brandon, he's scoring a game. Gee.
Oh, you don't have another rhyme? Oh, that's a bit of a fail.
So the Tigers here needing to keep this runner on third. Keep it at 9-2 going into the bottom of the fourth.
Gets a good piece of that one straight to Havas, stepping on the bag. Nice tidy out there to end the inning. Havas.
Yeah, Dental for Schools, Seacombe Tigers, Becky Havas has been super, super impressive. And again, liking to see this. Coach Dolman's out there congratulating all of her players each time they're coming in and out. So that's a really good job. Again, as I said, Coach Dolman, positive personality, got good experience. So the Tigers will be much better for it. And it's just great to see them back lead.
Yeah, it certainly is.
So we're ticking along with time a little bit, but there's still plenty of time left. We would be really hoping that we get to... Because what we want here is we want the Seacombe Tigers getting a few more at-bats, which means we really want to see the bottom of the fifth.
Yep. So the Tigers, yeah, they would want to be aggressive here. They are in the top of their line, so they will be coming through, middle of their line, so they will be coming through that part. So, yes, you wouldn't be trying to take a heap of pitches here. Not that Grauer's going to sort of pitch around you this much late in the day.
So, Georgia Tompkinson Briellen Dunn and Bianca Pash are the 3 batters for the Seacombe Tigers.
So Tompkinson just got caught looking in the first one, and a bit of that was, you know, just seemed like a bit of intent. She needs to just back herself and believe in herself, give herself a little bit more space at the plate. Grauer's known for exploiting the inside part of the plate. So give yourself some room to clear your hands, just make contact.
As it's getting this mark, you know, not 10, about 12 minutes to go to actual time.
Yeah.
Pitcher like Grauer will just try and blast you out.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's what she'll do.
Yeah.
She won't mess around. She'll just go whoosh, cop that.
Good pick up by Maslin behind the plate. Yeah, I mean, the intent of, you know, when you've got a player of that quality in Grauer, you've got to go to the plate with an intent and plan to hit. You've just got to, whether or not I'm going to take what she's going to throw. That's better. I'm okay with that. So there's nothing to be ashamed about taking a swing at a Yo Grauer pitch and getting beaten by it.
Well, she proved it in the Gilly Shield.
Yeah.
She's as good a pitcher as there is.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see that Tompkinson's now going right up the bat. Good call.
Good leave.
Yeah, it's a very good leave.
And the thing is with Johanna Grauer, apart from her excellent pitching, is her batting.
Yeah,
Oh, gee, she can bat for a pitcher.
yeah. Her and Callahan, you'd be fighting hard to find the 3-2 votes out of them at the moment. That's okay by Tompkinson. Much better than the first at bat in the sense that, you know, there was definitely some intent there.
Yeah, and she went down looking the first time.
Yeah, that's right. The trick is, as a young player, you've just got to realise that the best that play this game fail 70% of the time offensively. And if you get caught up thinking that I'm going to go up there and I should be going 10 for 10, this game's going to
pass you by.
make you have sleepless nights that you don't need to worry about.
Yeah, that's right.
So it doesn't mean that you just go out there and, you know, give it away 7 times out of 10, but it's a difficult game.
So Briellen Dunn up to the plate now.
Yeah, another one
swings through that one.
Yeah, another one just struggling for adjusting to the speed, but you can definitely see in the way that she's set and looking, she can be a decent power hitter.
Oh, caught looking there.
You can't do that though. That's the screwball.
So that's the 11th strikeout for Yo Grauer. Is that the same count that you've got, Lee?
No.
You've got...
So Bianca.
Nine.
Nine,
I have
sorry.
9.
So
Hey, you may be right. I may have
So Bianca Pash here.
10. It's the actual 10.
There we go.
Her
The
first
official score.
I'll meet you halfway. Lee.
Yeah,
How
okay,
about
that's
that?
all right. That's
So,
the deal.
Bianca
yes,
Pash.
Bianca Pash.
Her first at bat was the
Great at bat, got the walk.
Yeah, it's a long at bat. So see if she can, and that's what got that whole rally started, with Havas coming in and hitting that run at the end.
And it was a 2-out rally as well, wasn't it?
Yep.
Let's go.
Seems to be the theme.
I'd like to retrace my thoughts. I'm certain it's 9, not 10.
Yeah, it's a good swing.
But I've missed one somewhere. And I'm not happy about it.
So
So a 1-2 count here. Caught looking there.
yeah, that's tough. That's real tough. But Blues, if they've done themselves one favour, they've done it with a couple of minutes to go, which means that defensively they've at least got to go back out. So
Well, they'll play the bottom no matter what, so we definitely get a few more at-bats for the Seacombe Tigers. But for now, the Port Adelaide Magpies keep ticking it over. It is...
oh no, Blues looking at his clock now.
I think he's checking for mercy.
Yeah, it's next innings.
Yeah, the lights
Right.
haven't come on here, which is a point to be made. So the dropping light was the point that the umpires
Yeah.
were bringing up there.
Well, traditionally we would have had lights on by now, so I'm not sure what's happened there.
I've looked up at them a couple of times
You
wondering
can see
where
the
they are.
soccer field behind us have got their lights on, so but it's not ideal out there at the moment. Oh, no.
That's it.
So due to low light, we're going to wrap it up there. I think Coach Ben just having another quick conversation.
Probably not ideal way to finish the game.
But
that's a shame. But if it is a shame, as we've said a couple of times today, happy birthday to Chappie. We hope that, all is well soon. But from the Seacombe Tigers, from the Denver School team there, that's a look. We all came down here unknowing what we were going to see.
Look, against the defending champions, there is a lot to like out there. So we had good defensive plays. We had runs scored, massive 2 RBI triple by Havis.
Yeah.
I think especially just, playing against the Port Adelaide Magpies, that's just evidence of what a young infield can do. They can win a championship.
Yeah.
So very young infield, but they were stepping up to the moment a lot of times there. Yeah. They were going for aggressive plays, and I think that just give them time in the CMAX Premier League. Let them play a bunch of games.
Yeah.
Let them play against some teams who aren't necessarily the defending champions with one of the hardest pitches that you'll ever go up to bat against.
Yeah, as I think Lee summed it up earlier, they're just going to be better for the run. And that's the beauty of it. As I said, every other team, Port have at least played quality competition already in this league. The Tigers coming back off of a couple of year hiatus, and this is their first game back. So, Coach Dolman's going to be able to go back. Training this week, they're going to have so many things that they can reference from what they've learned just out of today, in the way that they got to the ground, the way that they prepared. As I said, emotionally, wanting to put a good account of themselves for Chappie, who has been so instrumental in getting this team back to the Premier League and CMAX. So, but again, you could just see some of their players just got caught in the headlights of a superstar, and that's going to happen. So they'll go away, they'll be a lot better for the run. And as I said, talking with Coach Dolman yesterday, couldn't be more impressed with the approach, a real care approach of not just, treating the players looking for 300 BAs and so on. She's actually caring about them as, human beings. And so they will be much better for it. So the Tigers, it'll be a work in progress. It'll be interesting to see some of the other games they play. Port Adelaide, that's what we expected to come back. So good signs there, but all round, good day for softball.
Yeah, good day for softball.
Yeah, certainly was.
So
a lot of action.
Who's your pick for the CMAX player of the game?
Look, I don't want to steal. I don't want to steal Lee's thunder. I'll play the straight card. Grau was best of field. You can't be. Again, against a team like the Seacombe Tigers coming back into the league, but she did exactly what she had to. I watched her last week. She was much better this week. She was dominant with the bat. Callahan just misses out on that play. She was super impressive as well.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. A pitcher that can pitch at that pace, that control, get that many strikeouts, and also bat.
And they've got an import coming who's a catcher.
Okay.
Who's got some serious, with some serious credentials. So that's a nightmare for the Magpies.
Geez, some of these teams are going to look really deadly once those imports arrive.
Yeah, absolutely. We're a couple of weeks away from probably seeing where we're all at. So, but look, Tigers over in front of the Dental for School sign right now, taking a what would be an emotional photo in the sense that for those players, some of those players, this is a 2-year journey to get back to here. So, congratulations to all of them and their supporters. All
right, well, gentlemen, that brings to a close a massive day of broadcasting. 3 games. Softball is back. It's a beautiful time of the year.
It certainly is, and it was a lovely day to play, wasn't it, today?
Keep up the good work, and a shout out to the crew over at Waverley doing a great job. just keep with it. It's going to get better every week. So looking forward to watching the next game over at Waverley.
True, yes. So I guess just a quick shameless plug. So Spacequake Sports during the winter expanded into Melbourne and the ACT, and in Melbourne we are now covering the men's fast pitch State League on Thursday nights and the Waverley Open 1 competition on the Tuesday nights. We'll actually be missing both of those games this coming week for an ice hockey competition. But
I saw Waverley and Heights last week and enjoyed the call, and it's great to see that Spacequake are expanding, because this is what local sport needs. It needs what you're doing with the type of organisation you've got, giving these minority sports who don't have the luxury of the commercial dollars, and you're doing a great job, and we appreciate it.
Well, we love being here and we love the game of softball, so it's hardly a day's work for us. It's a fun day outing. Well, that brings us to a close for today's coverage of the CMAX Premier League. Game 3, we had the Port Adelaide Magpies coming on top of the freshly returned Dental for Schools Seacombe Tigers. 4 innings played. The setting sun rained on our parade a little bit, but lots of positive signs for the return of the Seacombe Tigers. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.